Welcome, subscribers. This is D Nysum on the Millennium Mind channel. Like, share, comment, subscribe. This is top 10 hip hop groups of all time. This took me like 3 weeks to really commit to this because this is kind of a tough list. It took me all day to make. But I want to start out with honorable mentions. Um, Public Enemy didn't make it. I know a lot of people would definitely have them up on the list, probably as number one. They didn't make it. Honorable mentions to Ray Schroeder, 3-6 Mafia, El Gru, Kid and Play, Brand Nubian, X Clan, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Mobb Deep, etc. So it's not the craziest list, but this is my list. This is what I believe has the most work out of everyone, the most classic stuff. So we're gonna start from 10 to 1, and the number 10 group is Run DMC. Now they're at number 10. A lot of people would say they should be higher. They should be number one because they started all true. But that's why I don't like. That's what I don't like about when people compare. I shouldn't have to put someone at the top of the list because they the ones that started it all. That's one of the most biggest debates in music. You could be number one for the most impactful or most influential, but just because you started all doesn't mean I'm gonna say that you're the best. Other people will, but I can't do that. Not unless if you was the most consistent, had the most classic albums out of everyone, I can't do that. But definitely most influential, they definitely be the GOATs. But they're number 10. Like Raising Hell, that was an ill album. And yeah, there's not much to say on that because everyone should know they should be on the list. Number 9, people gonna start tripping already, but it's the Migos. Yes, I got the Migos over Run DMC because they got more classic music, in my opinion. Like there's some songs on Culture 3, but it's from different projects assembled together. They have more classic songs as a group rather than individually, except for Offset. Offset is the only member that is amazing alone. Takeoff and Quavo, they really better with the group than just to go solo. And they the young bulls of today, besides Griselda. They are very consistent and kind of slept on by the old heads. They're better than anything. Now that leads to number 8, a group Migos is not too far from. Outkast, Andre 3000, 3 Stacks, and Big Boy. Most unique group with a lot of range, a whole lot of range. They probably grew with the most substance, just like pure creativity. No one talks about the same stuff as these two do, especially Andre. Now they're amazing together. They're like two different personalities, very consistent. And people probably have Outkast higher than that. which leads to number 7. G-Unit, 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, Tony Ayo, Young Buck. Yeah, amazing group. Really because of 50. 50 was the main source of the group. All they needed was him for just laying down the hooks, and all you had to do was kill it. Like the Beg for Mercy album, that's an absolute classic. Like no misses, that was a straight 10. Lloyd Banks compliments 50 Cent, Young Buck, and Tony Ayo, they both compliment 50 Cent. I wouldn't listen to Yayo or Young Buck without 50. Lloyd Banks, he's the only other dude on G Unit that could hold his own without 50 Cent. Number 6, which is really tied with G Unit, is Dipset, Cameron, Joel Santana, and Jim Jones. Now, them and G Unit are very close. But the tiebreaker was that their album Diplomatic Community was better than Beg for Mercy slightly, and that's because of the production. The beats were better, the lyrics were, they both killing it throughout their albums, but the production, Beg for Mercy has some okay beats, and they had some beats that kill, but Diplomatic Community straight through, you can't find a beat that's not a banger. It was a 10 in production and lyrics, and they one of the most original rap groups. Dipset, I think they came out in the early 2000s. The actual group, I believe. So near my birth year, and I like every one of them. I like Cameron, Joel Santana, and Jim Jones. They also had the affiliates on Casa. What else they had? They had J.R. Ryder. They had what's the other dude? Damn, I forgot his name. He's a dude on This Is What I Do. Hell Rap. That's his name. He was nice too. All of them was nice. So they definitely had number 6. Well, rolling into number 5, West Side Connection. Who's even better than a group I didn't even name. West Side Connection, 100 times better than NWA. The NWA is named in top 10 on this list, but they far eclipse NWA. Bow Down, that's better than any NWA album. Ice Cube went off on here as hard as he did when he was a member of NWA. He didn't have to write for everyone else, because him and MC Ren was the only dudes that was spitting by themselves, and everyone else needed a ghostwriter because their rhymes wasn't as composed. They needed some help. There's nothing wrong with ghostwriting, but yeah, WC and what's his name? Mac 10, they could hold their own. They held their own on the album on Bow Down. The other album of theirs sucks. So yeah, I wouldn't even count that as their synopsis. But Bow Down was a classic, one of the most underrated rap groups. Like I would rather probably a movie about them over the NWA, but NWA has the influence. But the better rap group is Westside Connection all day. Which brings us to number 4, Bravehearts, Nas's group. And this is not biased. Nas is the GOAT, but this is not a biased decision. Cause these dudes were ill and they were slept on. Queensbridge Finest Classic. That came out in 2000. On my birthday. They battled Dipset and won. They was crushing Dipset. They was going back and forth. Nate Sean, he was getting that camera on. Joel Santana was retaliating. And at the end, Bravehearts took that. They took the win. And they all could spit. It's so crazy. Which brings us to number 3, Showbiz and AG. They probably underrated. And they would be up here for most influential. Showbiz and AG, I don't have to say much about why they're in the top 3. The Runaway Slave album, listen to that album. That's one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. Just the lyrics and the metaphor is just nasty. And that brings us to number 2, the 160, the RZA, the Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Inspector Get, You Got It, Meth Man, Ghostface Killer, Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang Clan was the first rap group that I ever fell in love with. Like when I was little. Like when I was watching, like my father's DVD disc. Yeah, Wu-Tang Clan music disc. Once I played that, man, it was over. But the main menu was playing Can It Be So Simple, which was the hands down the best song on 36 Chambers. I felt like a 90s kid. I felt that 90s vibe with all the members. I was in love with Wu-Tang Clan. I still am. One most creative, original group with the most flavor. It was so insane how they was rapping. And no one could duplicate what they have done. Never. This group is 1 out of a trillion. It is so, because they dropped as a group to make the 36 Chambers. Then they was doing their own thing individually. Some of them had a lot of classics. Some of them couldn't make a classic album without the group. And that just like brought in more accolades for them to show what they could do. And no one really was as successful as that as the Wu-Tang Clan. Just for soul members to have their own classics at the same time they can make a classic album together. Yeah, no one was really doing that. Like the Migos, they're one of the greatest rap groups of all time in hip hop, but it would take a long time for them to even get on that level because only Offset could make a classic album by himself. Quavo and Takeoff. Takeoff has made a classic song, and that's it. And Quavo, he can't make a classic song. He if there was like an overrated member, it would be Quavo. People claim that he's the best in the Migos. He can't make a classic song by himself. He got like harmonize, but his best lyrics are with the group. And if they can't do that, they not on a Wu level. And number one, the greatest hip hop group of all time, A Tribe Called Quest. No other group is messing with their discography. They the most soulful to me. And soulful as in who speaks to my heart the most. It's New York. It's straight Queens, New York, where I came from. Who is messing with the analogy and Midnight Marauders? No one. That's probably the best rap group album of all time, the Midnight Marauders. That album is crazy. The lyrics on point, the beats on point, and this is jazz. That on top of that, this is jazz. Mixing jazz and hip hop. Are you crazy? That's insane. Who else could do that and be as consistent as them? And it's not even like people can mess with their weakest albums, really. Most groups can. Or beats, rhymes, and life. And another reason why I had Tribe Called Quest over all these groups, like over Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang Clan may have members that can make classic albums by themselves, like more than one member. But Midnight Marauders is better than every Wu-Tang Clan album. And Ghostface Killah the best member on Wu-Tang Clan by far. But I don't even think there's a Ghostface album that's better than Midnight Marauders. That's how big they are against Wu-Tang Clan and everyone else. And that's why they're the GOAT. The GOAT hip hop group. So like, share, and comment what are your top 10 hip hop groups of all time. And subscribe. And more videos coming soon. Peace.